So there is a viral clip going around, which is awfully funny, of Jon Stewart interviewing Ezra Klein about his new book about the abundance agenda, and Ezra Klein goes through this like completely absurd 12 plus step process that states and companies had to go through in order to get the subsidies to build rural broadband. In the end, like only 3 states even make it through the process, and no rural broadband is getting built. It's like utterly ridiculous and people should watch it. But there's one thing that is left out of the conversation that you need to understand before watching this clip, or and if you know anybody that has watched this clip, you should tell them about this detail. What is left out is the role of corporate interference in governance and money in politics. At one point in this interview, Jon Stewart asks Ezra, who are these people that are objecting to all this stuff? And he says, I don't know. It's like special interests and environmental groups. Yeah, there's environmental groups are involved here. That's not what's going on here. The way that the Biden administration wrote the law was to cater to the corporate cable companies and internet companies that are already rolling out some broadband to rural areas, and they don't want competition. If they're already serving or planning to serve at some point in the future some rural area of the country, then they did not want one dime spent subsidizing somebody else to go out and roll out broadband. The Democrats' problem is that they listened to this. And why did they listen to it? Well, they wanted some Republican support for this legislation, which they never got. But also, they take money from these corporations, and they are in hock to them. They owe these companies because these companies fund them. So in China, for instance, if they want to lay broadband, they just go out and they build it. They don't have to ask permission from their corporate donors to go out and do it. So it's not that Democrats were stupid. It's not that they don't know how to do things. It's that they are corrupt. They're corrupted by corporate money. So the corporation said, okay, sure, do billions of dollars in subsidies for broadband in rural America, but make sure the process makes it impossible for there ever to be any spending in a place where a corporation might want to do business. And they built a process that allowed for this level of corporate interference. If you go back and watch their interview and you understand what I just told you, then you completely understand why the process was designed the way it was. But here's the thing. You don't have to design the process like this. If you are funded by regular people and not corporate PACs, you can tell the corporation, sorry, you guys haven't built rural broadband yet. We're not waiting for you. We're just going to go ahead and do it. So here's the problem. I wrote a book called We've Got People, which covers kind of the evolution of the Democratic Party from the 1970s up till about 2018. And in the period after Reagan won in 1980, there was a very similar collapse of the Democratic Party. They started throwing civil rights groups under the bus, started throwing environmentalists under the bus. They said all of these groups were making them seem too radical. And what they needed to do was embrace lower taxes and deregulation. And they basically wanted to become the party of abundance. They weren't using the phrase abundance that Ezra is using now, but that's basically what the kind of Reaganomics bipartisan approach of the 1980s was. And what did we get? We got massive inequality. That's when inequality exploded. And so if you don't think about corporate control of our politics and all you think about is, oh, we're going to do abundance, and then you lift a whole bunch of regulations, the corporations who are still in control are just going to get even richer, and they're not going to make the world better for the regular public. And the broadband example is actually a perfect one. So go watch that interview. You can find it easily with the knowledge that I just added to this question.